So we're getting to the end of the third quarter, and the way that the school that I'm currently at does their scheduling is they have the 7th and 8th graders are on periods which are like 45, 55 minutes, and the high schoolers have either fat or skinny blocks. So a fat block is 90 minutes, and then a skinny block is like 45 or 55, depending on how the schedule works out. Because like the way that my schedule works is I have 2 middle school classes, or junior high classes, 7th and 8th, whatever you want to call it, and those ones are 45 minutes each. And then after that I have a fat block, which is 90 minutes, and then I have 2 skinnies, which are like 50, 55 minutes, something like that. And then we have a homeroom and lunch in between those 2 skinny blocks, and then the last block is a 90-minute fat block again. So the ones that are skinny blocks, they go for the whole semester. The ones that are fat blocks are quarter. So some kids I've had them every day for 90 minutes, and they're done in a quarter. The skinnies I have for a semester, and then the middle schoolers I have 45 minutes every other day. So there's an A-B schedule for that. So I have to start doing the grades, because it's going to be the end of the quarter, and then we have parent-teacher conferences and whatnot. What I've been thinking a lot about lately is the way that we grade. And the grades are summative. They are like the sum of all of these assignments gets you this summative grade. You know, this is your A's, B's, whatever. Some schools do 1, 2s, whatever fill in the blank grading system you have. And it's really inefficient, because you see it's grading on the perception of, did you do the stuff that you need to do in this class to achieve the requirements that the state, nation, school, district teacher has established. And so this can be it can fluctuate greatly, and from teacher to teacher and things like that. And the standards that the state or nation or whatever makes the curriculum has these things that you need to check the box. Were they able to do this? Yes or no? And so on top of that would be fine if the only concern of the classroom was, did you get your work done? And so if it was that simple, I came in there, taught, and then expected the kids to do the work on their own and being self-sufficient, that would be fine. If it was sterile, if it was a sterile environment and like there were no other considerations, the summative grades that we give would be fine. The problem is that more of teaching is involved in classroom management, getting the students to complete the task, keeping them on task, focus, things like that, than it really is getting the projects done. Truth be told, I'll give out a project and I probably give way too much time for the students to get done. And so the problem that I'm dealing with is that I have some kids that are very on task. They get stuff done immediately when I assign it. They get right to work. Good job. And the subgroups of those kids are, do they work hard on it the entire time? Do they use all of this time to make the best work that they possibly can in that allotted time? And that's the goal of the artwork, if you will. In my opinion, if you are majority of the work, the check the boxes. Did I achieve the standards or the objectives that were laid out in this assignment? And then the rest of that time is refinement, or playing with those ideas, or getting them to the best that you possibly can as an individual. So you have some kids that fulfill this ideal of what should be done. They work the whole time and they put their best effort in, and they really delve into the assignment. Now, this doesn't work with all classes. Like math is like, did you do all the problems? There's room for refinement, but it's not like art where you could add shadows and details and add different subject matter and play with the lightings and whatever have you, the angles, blah blah blah. So in the art classroom, the ideal is that the student will use all that time to the best of their abilities and keep focused. The other half of those people that always get things done right away is they just get the check marks done. They make sure that, oh, did I do the stuff to get the grade? And then they're done. So if I give a lot of time and I've got these students that are really focused and get stuff done, they get done, and then they have all this time that they're waiting for the rest of the class to get done. So they can putz around and they can go on their computers or whatever, like they can talk to each other. They get free time because they're done. The problem is that then they just get stuff done to the bare minimum. Like, what do I need to get get all the check marks and get the grade? And when you do that, yeah, that's great, but you're really not practicing, you're not developing, you're not using all of your time to develop a skill or something of that effect. Especially if you're playing video games, just wasting time. Like, I'm gonna do this predetermined thing and it's entertaining and it flashes and blah blah blah, or I'm gonna flip through my Instagram or my TikTok or my Snapchat or Be Real or any of the tons of social media. Am I just gonna doom scroll, as they call it? So that's the first category. The second category is the kids that get things done, but they take a lot of time, and they might not get all the stuff done, but they're working on it the whole time. So that's great. They're using the time and they're doing what they can in that time frame. The next layer are the kids that put things off, but they keep working at it. They need a lot of time to themselves. They're tired, or they need a break or whatever, and that's completely fine too, because they're eventually getting the work done. The fourth kind is the kind that put it off until the very last minute, and then they don't get all the stuff done that they could get done, and they're not so they don't get the full grade, and they've wasted all this time up until this, so they could have been doing a good job and getting all the scores and things like that, but they wait until the very last minute until they have to, or they're going to receive some kind of negative impact on whatever it be. Like, it could be the teachers yelling at them, it could be parents yelling at them in grades for grades. They don't get to play the sport, whatever have you. They need a negative repercussion in order for them to get the work done. And so the last group are the ones that just don't care, that are lazy. They don't even, nothing matters. Very nihilistic. So these become the different categories in which kids truly are measured, because the summative, the assignments that are done and the grades that reflect on them is on this scale. What did you do at the end? It's the product. And especially in art, product is just it's the leftovers of the whole thing that is being considered. The artwork is the practice, the using the stuff, like the development, reflection. So if a kid's working the entire time, that's what they should be graded on. And if they're putting effort in and they're using their time to its fullest potential. Now, whether or not these kids are a higher or lower development, that is a consideration, but it's more of, are the kids using this time, are they capable of getting to work and doing work and the best work that they can? And that's ultimately what we're trying to develop for kids going into the workforce. I mean, that's down and dirty. That's what school is for, is to prepare kids for going out into society for the work environment. And the next level would be the social implications. Like, are they able to conduct themselves in the classroom and go out into society and know how to behave themselves? And we don't talk about that very often, and we typically don't get grades. The teachers, the principals, the people who have to deal with behaviors or deal with children in the classroom, that's the majority of the focus, is this social aspect. And part of that social aspect is knowing what to do in any given situation. What is the appropriate behavior of this environment? So here we're asked to grade and give these summative assessments on what they're doing. And the formative, the ones that are formal, like you have a bunch of different assignments. Did you do the assignment? Yes or no? That's the formative. So we take all these formative assessments and we combine them into this summative assessment. But this is just on the outcomes of their performance in class, not the actual performance. So here we're asked to teach, to educate these children. And when we give out grades, this is what the parents, this is what the report card, this is anybody who looks at colleges, jobs, whatever have you, the standards of the state to graduate, whoever's looking at the grades. This is what grades are telling you, is what their summative grades are. They're not telling you why or how they got to these positions. So the question shouldn't be what grade should they get, but how did they get these grades? Why do they have these grades? So you got to break that down into, are they able to focus? Do they need to have corrections, like being told you need to sit down, you need to focus, blah blah blah? Are they messing around most of the time? Do they just not listen? Do they not understand the assignment? So there's corrections there. And so the summative assessment, the report card, if you will, shouldn't be on the summative grades of the outcomes of what they've done, but rather why they got this outcome. Are they behaving in class? Are they able to focus? Can they follow directions? Are they using all their time? Are they putting thought? Are they developing the skill? Like, these are what the grades should be, because ultimately this is what jobs and society need. Yes, we need to teach them the materials so that they can go out. They know how to read. They know how to do math. They can get these basic things in society for their lives, including behaving at home, learning how to cook, clean, do laundry, organize things, budget their time. All these things become vital because this is what the majority of life is about. So if we are doing our jobs as teachers, as an education system, doing a service for these kids, we should be teaching them all of these things. And this should be the focus of what school is. Can they conduct themselves in life? And then are they able to accomplish tasks in which will aid them in society and the workforce? But we don't do that. And so when we put out these grades, your kid got an F or a D, and then either the kids or the parents are like arguing with you or upset about, why aren't you doing your job? Are you not teaching my kids? The summative grades that we are distributing for recognition of what they've done in school all day are not accurate. So like, you got parents that are mad, why is my kid getting an F, blah blah blah, you must hate them. Well, no. Assuming that teachers are good teachers and care about the wherewithal and the well-being of the child, most of our job is teaching them these common things like respect, like teaching them not to use certain language in certain situations, not to talk to people about certain things or talk to them in a certain way. Like the things that kids say to teachers today are obscene. These are the behaviors we have to worry about, let alone having them sit down, having them not fight with other kids. We're teaching them how to manage life in these considerations. And this is the majority of teaching. It is now anyways. And to focus just on the assignments, like I said, this had to be in a sterile in a vacuum, like there would have to be no other considerations for these grades other than we give you the assignments, we teach you, you get the information, and then you complete the assignment without any other consideration. That's what these summative grades are asking for, but that's not teaching, especially now. And so if parents are sending kids prepared for school, then we don't have to do that. But if we are asked to do these things to teach kids social conduct and behaviors and things like that, then that should be in the consideration of the report card. And if I'm telling a parent this, it's not to be, or a student for that matter, it's not to be malicious. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to help you. And you are rejecting the things that I'm saying by either not participating, not doing to your full potential, or not listening at all. Not knowing how to conduct yourself, which ultimately is disrespectful. This is what we're dealing with a lot. So ultimately, in summation, is we should be giving reports on full behavior of how they are getting these grades, or just that, like the final grades ultimately don't matter if none of the rest of the stuff aren't being achieved. If kids aren't understanding that these are the things that you need to do in order to achieve a summative grade, then it's worthless. And these are considered formative grades in some schools, but this should be like the meat and potatoes. This should be the focus of the reports, is the formative, the behavioral, the societal portion of education, not the summative grade. Did these students complete the assignments enough to get a grade? So we really need to re-examine what schools are actually doing, what schools have to do to teach. We have to educate first so that we can teach. And this is what should be known amongst parents, amongst everyone. Anybody who looks at, is this student, is this child ready for work, ready for society, ready to live life on their own. It's ultimately teaching independence. Are they independent enough that they can accomplish the things that these summative grades? So that's all I have to say about that. Thank you for your time and your attention. Do more, do better.